A young Peter Parker discovers that the study of his father Richard Parker has been burglarized. Peter's parents gather hidden documents, take Peter to the home of his Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and then mysteriously depart. Years later, a teenage Peter attends Midtown Science High School, where he is bullied by Flash Thompson and has caught the eye of Gwen Stacy. At home, Peter finds his father's papers and learns his father worked with fellow scientist Dr. Kurt Connors at Oscorp in the field of cross-species genetics. Sneaking into Oscorp, Peter enters a lab where a biocable is under development from genetically modified spiders, one of which bites him. He later discovers he has developed spider-like abilities, such as super strength, sharp senses, reflexes, agility, and speed. After studying Richard's papers, Peter visits the one-armed Dr. Connors, reveals he is Richard's son, and gives Connors his father's decay rate algorithm, the missing piece in Connors' experiment on regenerating limbs. Connors was being pressed by his superior, Dr. Rather, to devise a cure for the dying head of Oscorp, Norman Osborn. In school, Peter is exposed after a basketball challenge with Flash, in which Peter accidentally shatters the backboard glass. His uncle changes work shifts to meet with the principal and asks Peter to walk Aunt May home for him. That night, Peter forgets to do so, distracted while at Oscorp helping Connors regenerate the limb of a laboratory mouse. At home, he and Ben argue, and Peter leaves. At a nearby deli, a cashier refuses to let Peter buy milk when Peter is 2 cents short. When a thief suddenly raids the store, Peter allows him to escape. While searching for Peter, Ben attempts to stop the thief and is killed. The thief escapes as Peter finds Ben dead on the sidewalk. Afterward, Peter uses his new abilities to track down criminals matching the killer's description. After a fall lands him inside an abandoned stadium, a luchador wrestling poster inspires him to create a mask to hide his identity. He adds a spandex suit and builds mechanical web shooters out of wristwatches to attach to his wrists to be able to shoot webs. Later, at dinner with Gwen's family, he has a tense conversation with her father, Police Captain George Stacy, over the new masked vigilante's motives. After dinner, Peter reveals his identity to Gwen, and they kiss. After seeing success with the mouse using lizard DNA, Rather demands Connors begin human trials immediately. Connors refuses to rush the drug testing procedure and put innocent people at risk. Rather fires Connors and decides to test Connors' serum at a Veterans Administration hospital under the guise of a flu shot. In an act of desperation, Connors tries the formula on himself. After passing out, he awakens to find his missing arm has regenerated. Discovering that Rather is on his way to the VA hospital, Connors, whose skin is turning green and scaly, goes to intercept him. By the time he gets to the Williamsburg Bridge, Connors has become a violent hybrid of lizard and man, tossing cars, including Rather's, over the side. Peter, now calling himself Spider-Man, snatches each falling car with his webs. Peter suspects Connors is the lizard. Following a battle in the sewers, the lizard learns Spider-Man's real identity via the name on an abandoned camera and follows Peter to school, where they fight again. Police start a manhunt for both Spider-Man and the lizard. They corner Spider-Man by taking off his mask, and Captain Stacy discovers that Spider-Man is really Peter. The lizard plans to make all humans lizard-like by releasing a chemical cloud from Oscorp's tower to eliminate the weaknesses he believes plague humanity. Gwen infiltrates Oscorp and creates an antidote cloud, which Peter eventually disperses, restoring Connors and earlier victims to normal, but not before the lizard fatally wounds Captain Stacy. Before his death, Captain Stacy requests Peter avoid Gwen in order to keep her safe. Peter initially does so, but later at school suggests to Gwen he may see her after all. In a mid-credit scene, Connors, in a prison cell, speaks with a man in the shadows who asks if Peter knows the truth about his father. Connors doesn't know, and demands that Peter be left alone before the man disappears.